What's going on? It's like you get some money, and then every time a black man gets some money.
What if I told you that these type of relationships have been intentionally used to siphon power out of our community? There's a time several decades ago when a brother even looking at a woman like that could get you turned into a tree ornament. And so it's no coincidence that when brothers started talking about black power, that we got Loving versus Virginia and interracial marriage became legal. This is where I put my disclaimer. Love who you want to love, but yeah. As soon as Loving versus Virginia was passed, a lot of our highest earners and most educated black people started to marry outside the community. And the plan was devious. The goal was to tell black men that instead of building your own power structure within your own community, the existing power structure that denied you access will now grant it to you. It was a way to make them feel welcomed and assimilate into a community that was not built for them. Those men that at one point would challenge the power structure started to feel included by it. And those women that feel powerless around their own powerful men have found a powerful man that they can be socially dominant over. Because no matter how rich you are, she's still more in control of your life than you are of hers. And now that financial power doesn't go back into our community, but back into the hands of someone that's only there for that financial power in the first place. Don't believe me? Then why aren't they marrying broke brothers at the same rate?
These are not personal attacks. We're dealing with the psychological state of black men. And while black men don't feel that they need to be obligated to black women, while black men don't feel they need to be loyal to black women. Because guess what? Guess what, family? Guess what, family? Guess what? 95% of white men marry white women. Let me say it again. Let me say it again. Let me say it again for the people who don't hear me in the back. 95% of white men marry white women. Let me say it one more time for the people in the back. Let me say it one more time for the people in the back. 95% of white people marry white people, but 25% of black men marry non-black women. Wow. Look at that. 1 in 4 black men will marry someone who's not black. See how the white man sticks with his? See how the white man, he go dating non-white women, but it's not an epidemic like it is in our community. Yeah, the white man, he marries out the race sometimes, but it's not an epidemic like it is in our community. 95% of white men marry white women. 25% of black men marry non-black women. And when we control for income, the more money the black man makes, the more likely he will end up marrying a non-black woman. And the black man marries outside of his community more than all other men in America put together. Let me say this again. Let me say this again. Black men in America marry outside their race more than all other men in America put together as a percentage of your demographic in society. You really want me to believe that your racial inferiority complex plays no role in your selection of mates? Brother Chad, respectfully, brother, because I like Brother Chad. I was a fan of yours when you played. But Brother Chad, do you really want me to believe that your dark skin had nothing to do with why you pursued light-skinned Latino women to be your wives? Do you really think I'm that stupid? You're dealing with a psychologist, bruh. This is what I do. I analyze human behavior for a living. I've studied it my entire life. Do you really think I'm silly enough to think that your dark skin had nothing to do with why you pursued light-skinned Latino women to be your wives? Shannon Sharp, you are too intelligent. Shannon Sharp, you are too intelligent, Shannon Sharp. For me to believe, for you to think I'm going to believe that your dark skin has nothing to do with why you only date white women. You are too intelligent to think I'm going to believe that crap. You and I know, Chad and I know, we all know that your dark skin color and how you've been treated as a result of your dark skin color. I said your dark skin color, Shannon. Your dark skin color, Chad, and I belong on the same spectrum, but I happen to be proud of mine, and I don't date out my race. But your dark skin color has a big reason to do with why Chad pursues light skin and why Shannon only dates pale skin. There's a psychological defense mechanism that was articulated by the European father of white psychology, Sigmund Freud. There was a psychological defense mechanism that was articulated by the European father of white psychology. And it was called projection. Let me tell you what projection is. This is a psychological defense mechanism. Projection involves individuals attributing their own unacceptable thoughts, feelings, and motives to another person. It's called projection. Chad, Shannon, Terrell Owens, and all other black men, especially celebrities who only date non-black women, you are projecting your self-hate onto black women. These allegations that black women called you ugly when you were a kid, these allegations that black girls didn't want to be bothered with you when you were in high school, I'm not so sure that they were true. And even if they are true, you had some feelings of self-hatred and insecurity yourself. And you are projecting onto black women what you feel about yourself. I said you are projecting onto black women what you feel about yourself. I said you are projecting onto black women what you feel about yourself. Terrell went to high school in Alabama, college in racist ass Tennessee, and Shannon Sharp, you're from the South. All three of you dark-skinned black men are from the South. I have a question. All three of my dark-skinned brothers are from the South. All three of them. Dark-skinned Terrell Owens is from the South. Dark-skinned Chad Ochocinco is from the South. Dark-skinned Shannon Sharp is from the South. I'm dark-skinned too. So let me ask you brothers a question. You mean to tell me you were more traumatized by black girls calling you dark and ugly in grade school than you were by white girls calling you the N-word? Are you telling me you were more traumatized by black girls calling you dark and ugly than you were by white girls calling you the N-word, and white people calling you the N-word, and white boys calling you the N-word? I smell a lie. Somebody is not being honest. Somebody is not being honest. You are not going to tell me that black girls calling you ugly traumatized you more than black and white girls, than white boys and girls calling you the N-word. You're not going to convince me that you are more traumatized by black girls calling you ugly than you were by white boys and white girls and white people treating you in racially discriminatory ways, discriminating against you, being bigoted towards you, and calling it N-word. If you were being honest, you were more traumatized by the white girls than the black girls. If you Negroes were being honest, you were more traumatized by the white girls than the black girls. If you Negroes were being honest, you were more traumatized by the white girls calling you the N-word than the black girls calling you dark and ugly. If you agree with me in the chat right now, can I get some fists from my brothers and some hearts from my queens? Ain't no way in hell Terrell Owens, Shannon Sharp, and Chad Ochocinco Johnson were more traumatized by black girls calling them ugly than white boys and girls calling them the N-word. You's a damn lie. I used to live in North Carolina for a couple years. I was only there for about 3 years. And in 3 years, I had a principal twist my arm and throw me up against the ground. He threw me up against the outside. He threw me up against the school wall onto the ground. And I remember when I used to have 2 white playmates who lived across the street from us. Their white father came across the street. I was only 7 years old. Their white father came across the street, knocked on my door, and told my father to keep my black ass away from his house and away from his children. And I was only there for 3 years. I only lived in the South for 3 years. You ninjas lived down there your whole childhood and college, and you're trying to tell me that you were more traumatized by black girls calling you ugly than white people calling you the N-word. That's a damn lie, and y'all know it. Let me ask y'all a question. This is to all dark-skinned black men who date outside the race. This is to all black men, regardless of color, who date outside the race. Does your complexion have anything to do with your preference? Is it possible you hate how you look so much you can't stand to be next to it in your bedroom? Is it possible you hate how you look so much you can't stand to be next to it in the bedroom? I'm asking a question. Is it possible you hate your beautiful, dark, richly melanated skin so much that you can't stand to be next to it in your bedroom? Does your complexion have something to do with the women that you date? So let me get this right. Black girls called you ugly? So do you want me to believe that the white girls called you handsome? The black girls called you ugly. So you want me to believe that the white girls called you handsome? If the black girls called you ugly, I'm damn sure the white girls didn't call you handsome. Because guess who taught the black girls that dark skin was ugly? The white girls taught them that. So if the black girls called you ugly, I can only imagine what the white girls called you. So stop making excuses for your bunny hopping and just admit you hate yourself. And that's why you're dating and marrying outside the race.